So can online games go hand in hand with academics and knowledge attainment? We'll discuss that in Mr. Song's approach.
Internet addiction is a major headache for Chinese parents. However, while online games traditionally are seen as distractions to children's academic studies, Very Education has turned them into a new instruction tool. In anime psychology treatment, the children become game designers. The children create the characters and story. In the game, they build values as their character grows. Song got the idea for this treatment from a unique experience.
In 2000, I met with a student. He began playing the online game 20 when he was 17. When his mother threatened to cut off his money, he threatened to jump out the window. And I found it very hard to reach him. And I realized I had to change my approach. The real world is one thing. The virtual one is different. So I had to enter the virtual world.
Song bought a high-level character to communicate with the child in-game.
I told him all those things that he didn't like to hear, but in a different way. Then I taught him the two things I wanted to teach him from the beginning: a set of values and a sense of responsibility. It's important to teach these things, and in the virtual world, it was easy.
The once internet addict returned to the classroom. This became a source of inspiration for Song. Online culture is one of the hottest areas in business today, and online games are the hottest of the hot, occupying a huge chunk of the market.
The box offices in China make 20 billion yuan per year. But do you know how much games make? 70 billion. It's an incredibly large market.
However, in this profitable industry, competition is tough. The latest available numbers show that China has almost 900 online game operators and 30,000 game developers. Facing fierce competition, Song will need to take a different approach to succeed. Like before, education is the goal.
Frankly speaking, there are a lot of companies developing games, and there's a lot of education companies. But companies that can do education and games and combine the two are very rare. Actually, a lot of education companies have tried similar things, but they mostly make software. They don't make educational games.
Song develops educational games. He has developed a series of online games that teach children academic content while playing. Building on earlier games, in 2014, his company began developing the game Legend of the Silk Road.
This game takes place along the Silk Road. While playing, the players will learn English. It begins in pure Chinese and ends in pure English. The content covers the high school and university entrance exams. That is, if you can make it all the way from China to the UK, all by your own efforts, then you will basically have learned what you need to pass these exams.
Through Song's efforts, the game attracted the attention of Chinese internet giant Tencent. Tencent has invested 100 million yuan to be the exclusive commercial agent of this game. Thus, its hundreds of millions of users have become potential players.
So I asked earlier, Professor, can online games go hand in hand with academics and knowledge? And I think a lot of Chinese parents would probably say no, but Very Education seems to be making very strong forays into this area. It seems to be like a part of their strategic makeover here for this company. How do you assess this move? What do you think about Very Education going into online gaming to teach students knowledge and help them with their disillusionment of studying?
Right. By incorporating game into education, it will make learning much more fun, right, and less boring to teenagers. So that's the upside, and that's why education game becomes very popular and very attractive. But I think this business also faces a number of challenges, right? So the number one challenge is demand. So the issue here is the actual users or the players of online education game is not buyers, right? So the buyers are their parents, and the players are their children. So it's actually very difficult to come up with a product that's able to tailorize to both the demand or the needs of the children and the parents, right? So that's why sometimes you see all these education games. It's an awkward combination of a pure computer game and some sort of key learning points, right? And this actually dilemma leads to the second challenge, which is innovation, right? So I think the design and the R&D of computer game, education game needs to step up. And for this to happen, another challenge is you need a high quality team, right? So you need a team of professionals who not only understands how games are being developed, they have to know how to write computer codes, but at the same time, they have to have a deep understanding of education, right? So they have to understand how to best mix education elements with the gaming elements.
So Very Education received a 100 million yuan investment from Asia's largest internet company, Tencent. That's got to be a vote of confidence for the company, and other investors want to come into this field, right?
I agree, right. I think this is actually a win-win strategic alliances or partnership. From Tencent's perspective, I mean, as you mentioned, it's an internet giant, right? It has a very solid and large user base and has a very well-established platforms. But the company is constantly looking for new content, right, to help attract new users and also to help increase the stickiness of its existing users. But from Very Education's perspective, it's a much smaller company. So as you mentioned, working with a large internet giant, it has this strong certification effect, right? So later on, if Very Education needs to raise additional money or needs to find other partnerships, having Tencent backing the company up is a positive signal, right? So that helps. And also, by working with Tencent, I think Very Education can leverage, Tencent's existing user base very quickly. So help the company to accumulate users very quickly. And we know that reaching a critical mass is very important if you run an online gaming business, right?
So then, do you think that online education has the potential to completely revamp the traditional educational market, let's say the brick and mortar schools here in China, because it is already having a major effect on other learning institutions like New Oriental?
I think it's a little too early to tell. Because if you look at the current business model of all these online education players, the revenue model and business models are not that clear. So there are four major sources of revenues for online education. Number one is the sales of courseware or content or related software. Number two is they offer customized tutoring services online, right? And they charge for that. Number three is advertisement, and number four is they sometimes charge commission from their partnering schools, right? So, but which of these revenue models and business model will work out? Which one is sustainable in the long run? I think it's too early to tell.
Well, with a 100 million RMB investment from Tencent, I think this looks like a pretty promising business for Very Education. Thank you again, Professor Jia, for taking the time to talk with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. And on that note, we end this edition of New Money here on CCTV News. I'm Michael Wong. We'll see you again next week.